Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-hosts, Mark Hanf and Nam Phan of Pacific Private Money and Patty Cohen of Compass Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia question for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during the show. That certificate's not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon, with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. Today's trivia theme, again, random trivia. And Mark, why don't you start us off?
So we got Patty Cohen here today to talk about some of the local real estate stuff, but I'm going to share with you, I'm going to start the show by sharing with you, some of the information I pulled off this week's real estate blog posts, which talk about more on a national level what's happening. And so, one of the things about that we're all, acutely aware of in this coronavirus environment here is that there's this threat to re-shut down the economy, which really, for many businesses, really never restarted again after shutdown in April. But we've been talking for weeks now on the Best of Investing about how the real estate market has really thrived. Mortgage markets have been up, the real estate markets have been up, and I've just got a smattering of headlines here that kind of indicate which direction real estate has been heading. And this is notwithstanding articles and posts that I see from people predicting, and I use that word carefully in quotes, they're really more like hoping real estate values crash and or go down, because a lot of these people are opportunistic. They really they're looking forward, many real estate investors are looking forward to a buying opportunity. Now, that's not to say that, a confluence of events don't occur that does result in real estate values going down, in the fourth quarter or maybe sometime in 2021. But it's just interesting that at least the latest statistics for June and July just don't bear that, that outcome in mind right now. And so we've got things like homeownership rates continue to rise. So we've got some of the highest homeownership rates since 2008. That means more people are owner occupying and purchasing homes. At the same time, though, from the investor standpoint, the news is that residential investments have dropped nearly 40%. That's a second quarter statistic. Well, that would make sense. So that's actually good for the homeowners. The homeowners now are getting into homes. More and more owner occupants and homeowners are getting into homes now, and fewer people are investing in real estate. Again, maybe many of those are waiting for prices to drop and are not seeing that happen. Home sales themselves have hit a record-setting rebound. Now, that's a little bit of a misleading headline because home sales are still a fraction of what they were year over year in terms of units, but they really spiked up in June, and that's very good news for those of us whose investments rely on strong underlying strength of the real estate market, and that would include those of us who invest in real estate itself, and those of us who invest in real estate debt, which at Pacific Private Money we're very bullish on real estate debt investments. Patty, what are you seeing in the local markets?
Oh, it's the strongest sellers market that I have ever seen in 32 years. And that's
really, oh my goodness.
Huh.
That's a strong claim.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that from agents all over the country, including like Sonoma County, Napa County, but also all over the country. And what's happening is, the June numbers, you're right, the June numbers are off the charts, but typically June and July, the closings are kind of slow. But right. July is going to be off the charts because, again, summer is the new spring. So I'm seeing just amazing stuff.
Yeah, you're right about I look back historically at our mortgage unit volume at Pacific Private Money, and July and August have been sleepy time for us historically. But, this year, everything's being rewritten. Summer is the new spring. Who knows what fall will be? Maybe fall will be the new summer, or maybe, I'm always pretty bullish and optimistic in my outlook. I don't see why, with interest rates as low as they are, why we wouldn't continue to see a strong seller's market, heading into 2021.
Yeah, I think it's going to continue. We have a convergence of a few things, like you said, rates. which are unprecedented. We have summer as the new spring. We also have, with shelter in place, people are seeing that they could live anywhere. So, I mean, there's the exodus from the city anyway. So there's that. But there's also, hey, I can live anywhere I want, which makes places outside of a city even more desirable. Or I know people that are, sheltering with their 3 kids in Napa, and they were just waiting for, I brought on a listing this week for $3.4 million in Strawberry in Mill Valley, and people came out of the wood even at that price range, got into escrow immediately. So it's the convergence of all of it.
I mean, and in reality, it's from a broker standpoint, because people need to make a commission. It almost doesn't matter in a way which way the market moves. It's just as long as there's a lot of volume, and there's going to be a lot of volume because, again, people moving out of the city and this and that, and the prices in the city, they still kind of dropped a little bit, didn't they?
Yes, well, that's the other part about it, because prices are going up because it is a function, and that's what makes it so super tight, seller's market, because there aren't as many sellers. I mean, there's always a lack of inventory.
Gotcha. Hey guys, we're going to cut to our first commercial break here. First trivia question. What type of animal was the first ever to be cloned from an adult cell?
From what?
That last part doesn't really make that much, doesn't matter that much. But basically, what when we all think of this, what animal was the first ever to be cloned? What animal? All right. Call 888-912-1190. First caller with the correct answer is going to win that tanning certificate. Also, when we come back, we're going to have a deal of the week. Very interesting one. You guys don't even know about it yet because I just received it about an hour ago. All right. Stay with us. Best of Investing. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hoff and Nam Phan of Pacific Private Money and Patty Cohn of Compass Realty. Our first trivia question was, what type of animal was the first ever to be cloned?
Dolly the sheep.
The sheep. That's right.
Oh,
wow, you even knew the name. Not bad. Hey, just want to make
she was a friend.
Make a quick mention here, talking about shelter in place, but you know what? The Mount View Hotel and Spa in Calistoga enjoy the luxurious pool, hot spring mineral water, jacuzzi as they provide proper social distancing in the large pool area. Enjoy the magical themed dinners in their new private hotel guest outdoor dining, centrally located in Calistoga and within walking distance of many amenities, including the wineries. Check them out at www.mountviewhotel.com for reservations. All right, Mark, why don't you continue on? You got some good articles.
Yeah, so Patty mentioned that, which was actually really surprising for me to hear, that it's been the strongest sellers market that she's ever seen, and activity is really is just up from when COVID started. And I've got a couple of headlines here from Redfin, and again, these are nationwide articles, but rather surprising. The first one says almost half of recent home buyers made an offer sight unseen on their home. The highest, this is the highest on record. And a follow-up article to that said 20% of winning home offers waived the inspection contingency in June, and that's up 30% year over year. So those two things kind of explain a little bit. It's the answer to the question: how on earth are people buying real estate with shelter in place? Well, it's virtual tours, making offers sight unseen, and waiving inspections. First time they see the house is when they're moving in.
But honestly, that's extremely rare. People are showing houses a lot. I was being facetious. Only one agent present and 2 buyers sheltering, no kids and 2 buyers. But there are more people making offers without inspections, but it's not because of shelter in place. It's because of the competition. And another factor that adds to the competition is that we have less sellers than usual because they don't know where they want to go. Like they're going, hey, we were thinking about moving, but we're not moving during this pandemic. But a lot of people are just buying, and it's a second home or it's a whatever home, or they're renting or whatever. But honestly, I'm sure Redfin had that survey, but very few are buying without seeing the house ever. I mean, because people are showing. They're showing like
I think it's they're getting the offer in. I was being a little bit facetious about, you know, first time they see the houses when they're moving in, but you know, that is, you know, in a tight market, you know, looking at it online, taking the virtual tour, and then getting your offer in, subject to obviously a site inspection. But it's interesting here. You know, it says in that same article, in New York City, some sellers aren't even allowing buyers into their homes until they've been pre-approved for a mortgage. You know, so it's
yeah,
very
I mean,
interesting how
yeah, I showed a house. I mean, some of the houses I'm showing, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Everybody, you're going to have an earworm for about 5 days, but Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, that fabulous Otis Redding song.
Yeah.
Well, I just came back from showing that. I have the listing where he wrote that on the roof.
Oh.
And he was sitting on the dock of the bay, sitting there from morning till night. It turns out he died like a couple of months later. But I showed that house today. It's a houseboat. Shel Silverstein, the famed children's author, owned it and lived there. However, you can't get a loan on it because the only one that does loans on houseboats is Bank of Marin, and you can't do a loan on it because it doesn't have a concrete hull. So I told these people, I'm not going to, and plus it's going to be on TMZ, we're doing all this marketing. So I'm not just showing it because you want to see where that song was written. So I'm asking people to show me proof of funds before I even show
Cash
it.
only.
I mean, he gave me a brokerage statement for $3.67 million. You know, I mean, it's only listed at 360, but anyway, excuse me, 650. But the point is, like, yeah, you have to have, not everyone's doing this, but in this case I am. But a lot of times before you show a property, you got to show a pre-approval letter.
Well, that's what you do in a seller's market is you need to sort of wean out borrowers who aren't qualified. It's just doesn't make sense to show everyone in the world.
Yeah, it's interesting. This same article in Redfin said many home buyers have opted for sight unseen offers because it feels like the safer choice as coronavirus cases continue to climb. While it's still rare to complete the entire home buying process without seeing the property in person, Los Angeles home buyer Gladys Sanchez is planning to do just that. She lives, I guess she has one of those autoimmune challenges, and so she's virtually toured dozens of homes and made an offer and plans to complete a purchase without actually physically seeing the property first.
Well,
it is happening, and it just seems like it's a whole different world now.
I mean, with those drones, you can do a pretty good job of pretty much covering the entire property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's great about this is all of the tire kickers are gone, and the sellers who are not really serious are gone too.
Oh, that's
yeah, that's interesting. I didn't realize that's right. That didn't occur to me, but you're right. That's probably the bane of a real estate agent's existence is the tire kickers, and you have a hard time. You know, you don't want to be presumptive, and you don't want to turn a client off, but wow, you're not likely to see much of that right now. So.
Yeah.
So when you first interview them, do you first ask them, "Are you a looky loo?"
Yeah. No, I'm a looky Lucy.
So Patty, in this market, and maybe we can save this for the next segment, but how are you counseling sellers to list? Is it to list under what you think market will be, create, you know, a frenzy bidding activity, or are you listing at what you think it will sell for?
Yeah.
What are some thoughts on that? And
then what do we think it's sell for? So we are not doing, we're suggesting over pre-COVID prices. So prices have gone up, and and of course it depends what it is. You know, if it's an obscure place, but for the most part, we're pricing it just tight on where we think it's going to go. But I mean, I've got a new listing in Corte Madera that's priced at 1,395, and I really hate to predict, but we're looking at offers on Monday, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it goes for like 1,550 or 1,6 at 1,395.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, I think Pacific Private Money has a special announcement that'll kind of
that's awesome.
Lines. And we also want to talk about a new fund that the preferred rate looks like it's going to be 9%, and we're targeting to pay higher than that.
Oh, really?
Got an interesting deal of the week to share with everyone. So we're going to cut to our second trivia question commercial here. In Disney's Peter Pan, What animal is Captain Hook constantly stalked by? So there's one animal that's always after Captain Hook. All right, that's our trivia question. Call 888-912-1190. The first caller with the correct answer is going to win that Tanning certificate. Again, in Disney's Peter Pan, what animal is Captain Hook constantly stalked by? And again, stay with us because you're listening to The Best of Investing. When we come back, we're going to have a deal of the week. Pacific Private Money's got a strong announcement, and we're going to share with you a new fund that's going to be a preferred return of 9%. Holy smokes, in this market, 9%. How are you going to be able to achieve that? Stay tuned.
Really good.
Welcome back to The Best of Investing. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen, Nam Fon, and Mark Hanf. Second trivia question. In Disney's Peter Pan, what animal is Captain Hook constantly stalked by?
Alligator.
Yes, we would accept.
Or was it a crocodile? I always get them mixed up.
Technically, it was a crocodile, but we would accept either one.
Same thing.
A
Something with
scary
big
animal with big chompers. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to give a deal of the week, and then I'm going to let you guys backfill it. Okay, and what I mean by that is, I'll tell you the actual deal, and then you can explain why we're able to do this kind of situation. So I get a call from a broker. And here's basically what it says. I have a sale pending on 2 homes and a lot in Northern California. All right. Purchase price is $1,445,000. The buyer is putting 50% down and financing the balance. We anticipate a problem with the conventional lender in that there is a lease for the use of a dock with the state lands. State of California, which means the State Lands Commission, which should be assumed, okay? This is automatic, but we're dealing with the state, and I've been in that exact situation. It's almost automatic, but guess what? Even though they'll rubber stamp it, these assumptions, and it's a $1,000 fee, but they only meet every couple of months to grant these assumptions. That's absolutely true. And we want to close earlier. Can you help us out? What would you charge? So 50% loan to value. It's a slam dunk because the conventional lender is just waiting in the wings, but they can't do anything now because there's the assumption that, hasn't been done yet with the state lands, but they're putting 50% down.
So I'm guessing this property is somewhere in the Delta region?
It's got water attached to it, but it's
okay. So it's got water attached to it. So the dock is under the purview of the State Lands Commission. They're leasing the waterways because it's very difficult in California to own any land that is submerged below the mean tide. And so this is a purchase money loan this guy needs, and he goes to his bank to get the loan. The bank says, well, we're not going to lend you the money to buy this property until you get the approval for the transfer and or assignment of the lease from the seller. And as Edward just pointed out, that's going to take a couple of months. So knowing that, that it's typically a rubber stamp, companies like ours at Pacific Private Money, first of all, we're experienced real estate investors. Edward, you and I both have had personal experience dealing with the State Lands Commission. And yes, they would have no reason not to approve the assignment of a lease from one upland home buyer to the other. And
Correct.
So we know that it's a rubber stamp, but because banks have rules that they have to go by, we can, as alternative lenders, make a strategic decision based on our inside knowledge and make this loan, knowing that there's still safety and security for our capital, and within however many months it's going to take them to get that approval and then reapply for their bank loan and close. It may be 60 days, it may be 90 days, it may be 6 months,
Well, and that's
these
what they
guys
want.
need a bridge loan.
And that's exactly what he asked for. He says, 50% loan to value for a first period of 6 to 12 months. So
Yeah,
nice
absolutely.
loan.
And we'll probably get paid off on that in 60 to 90 days.
Right. So those are, those bridge loans are perfect examples of real estate transactions that we do on a regular basis. And yes, we charge, 9% on average for the use of our capital on a real estate transaction. And people oftentimes ask, with bank rates at 3%, why would anybody borrow money from you at 9%? Well, because if you can't get bank financing at 3% or 4 or 5 or any price from bank, and you want that property, you know, we're in the business of making transactions happen for people. We help people capture real estate so that they can do whatever needs to be done after they've gained control of the property, and now they're in a position to be able to refinance the property sometime, typically within 1 year. More often than not, the loans we make to real estate buyers are repaid within a year, sometimes as short as 6 weeks, but more often than not, on average, between 4 and 6 months. So we're a tool for sophisticated real estate purchasers, whether they're buying for themselves to live into or they're buying for investment purposes. Fast and reliable is really the moniker of our industry. And at Pacific Private Money, we're fast, reliable, and friendly. That's the icing on the cake.
And the rate of return on this will be quite high because there's no prepayment penalty. We're expecting to get paid off in less than 6 months. And when you charge a couple of points and 9%, that's great. And that's exactly what the kind of loan that would go into the Pacific Private Money Fund, which would boost the yield quite a bit. Right now, what's the yield on the fund?
It's trending for this year so far about 7.5%.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. And for more information on that?
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about an announcement we're going to make. And again, this is, you know, unless you are in finance or the real estate industry or a real estate professional or mortgage professional, this might not, you know, it might not be very meaningful for you, but we did something that very few alternative lenders in California have been successful in doing. In fact, we're only the 6th private lending company nationwide to have created its own securitization. We did a $100 million securitization that closed this past week. That means that we sold from our service loan portfolio $100 million worth of loans to a national bank. And that securitization for us, it's a 2-year securitization which acts a lot like a line of credit, because as loans pay off, we can replace those loans. So it's a pretty amazing feat, and it was thanks to our partners, Saluda Grade, that helped us successfully create that securitization. But it was 2 months in the making, a lot of hours and man hours from our staff. Pretty amazing. We're pretty excited about it, and it really helps. It will help us to, you know, elevate Pacific Private Money to the level that is, you know, part of our goal to be able to, in the next 3 to 5 years, be a $1 billion annual loan origination company. And this is a really big step in helping us achieve that goal. So we're pretty excited.
Only $1 billion?
Only $1 billion, yeah.
And
the B word.
Mark, for more information on how to tap into that $1 billion, no, I'm just kidding. For more information on Pacific Private Money and how people can earn that 7.5%, how do they get a hold of you?
Yep, go to our website at pacificprivatemoney.com. That's pacificprivatemoney.com, or give us a call, 415-883-2150, 883-2150, for more information on how to borrow money quickly and easily, or how to earn returns of 7% or more on your savings.
Darn it, Mark, you took away my only contribution to the show today, which was giving away our contact information.
Yeah, well, we'll give you a contribution next time here. Here we go. Here's our second,
right.
Here's our third trivia question. What are the names of the male and female arch enemies of Rocky and Bullwinkle? All right, 888-912-1190. The first caller.
We go 3 for 3 on this.
Oh, man.
Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. The Best of Investing will be right back. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown here, along with Patty Cohen, Mark Hanf, and Nam Phan. Third trivia question: what are the names of the male and female arch enemies of Rocky and Bullwinkle? Mark, you said you knew the answer.
Boris and Natasha.
Boris and Natasha.
Let's get Moose and Squirrel.
Yeah, that's right. I love that. He goes, let's get Moose and Squirrel. Very good. All right, Patty, an email comes in for you, and it says, how long do you think the strength in the real estate market can continue?
Well, it's a very good question. I mean, I'm very bullish for a long time, except for the low end of the market. So, for example, I have a seller right now that wants to sell a 1-bedroom condo. I don't, you know, if you get $3,000. Okay, so 42% of the hardship is for people making less than $40,000 a year. So they're the most affected. So that's other parts of the country. So he's got 8 rental properties. He wants to dump them all. This particular place would get $3,000 a month rent. So if you make less than 40,000, it's not going to affect us, but he's very conservative. So what do I mean by that? For example, in Marin County, they just extended the moratorium on evictions until September 30th. So what does that mean? So a tenant has from 30 days after the rent is due. So let's just say August 1st, you can't pay your rent. Well, I'm going to tell you on September 1st, oh, by the way, I can't pay my rent, right? So I have 90 days until after the moratorium's over, which is September 30th now.
Assuming they're not going to extend it yet again.
Let's assume they are, right? So he's going, I don't want people sitting in my houses for a year not paying rent. So, let's say, so now let's just say it's going to get extended till the end of the year. So now on September 1st, I tell my landlord, I can't pay August rent. So now I have until the end of December to start the repayment process. Like landlord and tenants are urged to come up with an agreement on how that repayment's going to work.
What happens if the tenant just says, keep my deposit, see ya?
Bye-bye. Well, that's, yeah, but what's to stop a tenant from just sitting there?
Oh, yeah.
Their deposit's gone. Let's just say that. We know that, so they're just going to sit there. And I've got a lot of rental properties myself, and not one person has been late or had a problem. So, and we talked about that last time, like 95% of tenants for May were right on time compared to 97 last year. So it's not really a problem, but it's going to get to be a problem. It's going to really get to be a problem where a lot of the people making less than $40,000 a year live.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to pay their rent.
So let me, if I could dovetail off of that. So Mark, and this kind of feeds into this because Mark, tell the audience about our new fund.
So we launched our 4th fund this month. Actually, we're kind of officially launching it August 1st. And it's called the Pacific Southwest Note Fund. And what's unique about this fund, it's as our other 3 funds, it is a mortgage note fund. In other words, all of the assets of the primary assets of the fund are mortgage notes. But what's different about this fund is that these are seller carryback mortgage notes that we are buying at steep discounts in the state of Texas and surrounding states. Now, for California residents, as you may not know, but a lot of real estate sells in Texas and other surrounding states where the seller carries back the note. And it's not just immigrant buyers, although that does comprise a significant percentage of those homeowners. But what ends up happening is the seller carries back a note, and it's usually a 30-year note at an average of 6%. But a few years into that note, maybe 5 years, maybe 7 years, maybe 10 years, they get they're ready to try to cash out, or they pass away and their beneficiaries decide, well, we don't want this $175,000 a month coming in, $175 a month or $200 a month, whatever the mortgage payment is. We're going to sell the note. And what they've soon learned is that we have a partner in this that for 20 years has been purchasing seller carryback notes, and he's a really good negotiator, and the trick is to make lots and lots of offers at oftentimes 60 cents on the unpaid principal balance dollar amount. And what that does is it achieves an internal rate of return of anywhere from 15 to 20%, and you assemble those loans in a mortgage pool fund, and after expenses and management fees, we expect to pay returns in the double digits, somewhere in the low double digits. But the preferred return, which is really unique about this, is we're offering a 9% preferred return. We're making monthly distributions. This is going to be an income fund because we're investing in mostly performing notes, mostly first position performing notes, not non-performing seconds and other things like that. This is not a foreclosure fund like a lot of note investment funds are nationwide. This is an income producing, income fund of current performing notes that we are able to purchase at a discount thanks to a $2 million piece of software that our partner has created over the last 20 years that gives him a leg up on identifying and negotiating the best prices for these. So again, for more information, you're going to want to reach back to us at Pacific Private Money. It's so new, it's not on our website yet.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to call for more information. Call us at 415-883-2150 and say, I heard about this Texas note fund you guys have. And again, our partner in this who's supplying the deal flow is in Texas. Actually, he's a lifelong Texas resident, has been doing this for 20 years. He partnered up with Edward and I because he doesn't have the time or the relationships to raise capital, and we do. We've got a lot of relationships.
Well, the
here in
nice thing is
California.
it's not just this conceptual thing, theoretical. I mean,
It's not conception. It's a real thriving business. We've already purchased over $1 million worth of notes.
Yeah, and every
Yeah,
one of my, I've got over 10 notes. Every single one of them is current. Not a single person has asked for a deferment. And I think part of the main reason is the fact that in California, your mortgage payment is a very large percentage of your income.
Yeah.
In Texas, it's a lot less, and everybody needs a place to live. So if these people defaulted, they'd have to still rent someplace for $1,100 a month, but their mortgage payment's only like $500 a month. So if they get into trouble, they're going to get friends and aunts and uncles. They don't want to lose their house, and if they do, I mean, we have so much equity because we're buying these discounted notes at such a good value. We're not concerned about a foreclosure. It's interesting. One fact is our partner had he did a foreclosure one time. It just situation happened where he had to do a foreclosure, and he decided to put the house once he got it in foreclosure. He put it on Craigslist, and within a week, over a period of a week, he had 1,700 emails.
Wow.
House because he didn't have to price it at fair market value. He priced it way below because he had that luxury because he bought at the note at such a low discount. He still made a profit.
Wow.
Very, very rare that we would lose on something like this. So that's why we're able to say, we can comfortably pay 9% on this. No fee to get in, no fee to get out, just a 1-year hold, just like our other.
I'd be interested in doing first, not seconds in right
area. Oh yeah, no, we're all of them are first. We haven't even seen a second. We're only doing first because the seller wouldn't want to carry a second anyway.
Right.
So that's why they have a good asset, and these are performing notes that have been around for a while. We're not buying them brand new. We want to see the history. All right, we got to cut to a break. When we come back, we're going to have some closing comments on the best of investing. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen, Nam Phan, and Mark Hanf. No trivia question, but Patty, we realized that you didn't get a chance to tell people who you are and get a hold of you for some valuable information about real estate.
Who do I think I am? Enough about me. What do you think about me? Anyway, so my name is Patty Cohen. I'm with Compass. I've been a realtor in Marin County for 32 years. I have sold more listings than 99.3% of agents here, and I can be reached at 415-722-4842, and I am at Patty, PATTI.Cohen, COHN, at Compass.com.
Okay, very good. You know what? An email comes in for Pacific Private Money. It says, if this coronavirus continues, will you still be bullish?
Will we still be bullish? I mean, it's all relative. How, I guess, if it comes back like it was back in March and April, well, we've seen how that's played out. So I expect that, real estate will continue to be vibrant. And if anything, it's going to probably increase the desire for people to migrate out of certain areas and shelter in place in a bigger home. So, like we were saying in earlier segments, the transactions, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, the transactions will be there. And we'll be there to provide the capital for those who need, alternative financing. So, it's hard to have a crystal ball. Who knows where this is going to go? But even this week, as we speak, we're seeing, sort of a leveling off again. after the spike at the beginning of the month. So, it may come in waves, this coronavirus, but I think we all have sort of gotten into a rhythm of how to deal with it. So it's right now it's the new normal. And I think aside from that, people are just, continuing on with their lives. And if it continues to be like this, we'll continue to be busy. So I'm bullish, ultimately, bottom line.
Well,
So.
you have more the deal flow than money, so that's actually a good problem to have.
Yeah, and the securitization this week has really helped. And again, people who want to invest or learn about the new fund or any of the 4 funds that we have, or if anyone needs a bridge loan or any other kind of product, they can give us a call at 415-883-2150 or go to our website, www.pacificprivatemoney.com. And I can tell you too, we're updating the investor portal for those investors because of the fact that we have so many funds now and so many different ways to invest. We really are putting more of an effort to allow investors to go to one place to access all of their potential investment accounts with us.
Yeah, it makes it, as long as you can make it easy for the investor, that's what they like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Patty, 45 seconds. What do you want to tell us?
I just want to tell you, like, if you're thinking about buying real estate, now is the time to buy. It really is. Oh, and if you're thinking about selling, it's time to sell. It's just a phenomenal market.
As long as it's priced right, it's always a good time.
Yes.
Mark, you want to give us 15 seconds?
Well, make sure you go to our website, pacificprivatemoney.com, for more information. We'll be adding our 4th opportunity to invest in a mortgage-backed fund that pays a fabulous rate of return. So pacificprivatemoney.com.
All right, here's our thoughts for the day. If every day is a gift, can someone give me a receipt for Monday? I want to exchange it for another Friday.
I want to exchange 2020. No, I like 2020.
I know, it's going to
Yeah.
be called the lost year, really. And to the mathematicians who thought of the idea of zero, thanks for nothing. Sign of a front. I love this one. Sign in front of a church says, "Honk if you love Jesus. Text while driving if you want to meet him." Ain't that the truth? All right.
Yeah.
Tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing.
Investing.
So long.